Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about SCOTUS, California, cars, and cases. The Supreme Court of the United States has decided to take up a case that is going to have much wider implications than it sounds like at first. So, back when the United States was actually trying to make some headway when it comes to environmental protection, the Clean Air Act was passed and amended repeatedly. When the Clean Air Act started regulating car emissions, there was a unique little passage in it. It prohibited states from setting their own emission standards, but there was an exemption process for any state that had their own regulations in place prior to March of 1966. California. It exempted California. It was the only state to meet the requirements. To use the exemption to get a waiver for new regulations, the state needs to show compelling and extraordinary conditions. Lately, the EPA has found that climate change hands the state the compelling and extraordinary conditions it needs for a waiver. The state has obtained more than 70 waivers over the years. Now, the Supreme Court has taken up a case that might eventually lead to a real challenge of the process. The case stems from a 2013 waiver. A number of states and fuel companies are trying to get the courts to undermine California's more stringent standards. The Supreme Court has agreed to review whether or not fuel companies can point to the California regulations' impacts on automakers to give them standing for a suit. The court already declined to review the waiver itself. So, this case itself won't have immediate effects on the state's clean air regulation, but it might lead to them. So, why does this matter? California is a big state. There's a lot of cars sold in it. When California creates stiffer regulations for emissions, automakers meet them so they can sell their cars in the state. They don't open a new factory to create one California-compliant car and one for the rest of the U.S. In this way, California has kind of been picking up the slack in D.C. when it comes to clean air regulation. If companies are successful at chipping away at California's ability to regulate the emissions in the state, well, we'll all end up with more pollution. But the people watching this video already know that's bad for us as individuals and for the country. We need something to motivate people who don't care about the environment. I can't think of a way to tie it to eggs, but we can tie it to gas prices because it's directly impacted. Better emission standards generally leads to higher miles per gallon. That means people need less fuel to travel the same distance. That means demand is less. That means prices are less. If companies get to gut environmental regulations about emissions, it will probably lead to lower miles per gallon in your next car. So that means you're already spending more to travel the same distance because you'll need more gallons of gas to complete the same trip. It also means that prices will go up because everybody else needs more gas too. Saving the environment is generally good for your wallet. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.